Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a truly special online event today. It's called Explore Multidimensional Crystal Healing Journeys. Work with sacred stones for emotional release, profound clarity, and insights across lifetimes. My name is Stephen Dinan. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm really blessed to be with you because I've really found that the whole arena of crystals and crystal healing was sort of a little bit esoteric for me for a while. I kind of came from more of the life of the mind, but as I've understood more about how crystals can store and hear and amplify healing frequencies, connect us with other dimensions, I've really gotten much more intrigued in this area, and we're going to get to explore it with one of the world pioneers in this area. Her name is Gemma Petherbridge. She's the author and founder of the Crystal Mystery School. And if you like what we hear from Gemma today, we're going to have a brand new course coming up with her called Crystal Healing Journeys Across Lifetimes. It's going to go much deeper, and we'll share more about that towards the end of the hour. So, Gemma, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, Stephen. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, I always like to start our time together with a bit about your story and backstory of what put you on this path to really focus on the higher dimensions of working with crystals.
Yes. As you can probably tell from the accent, I'm based in the UK. I live just outside of London, but originally I come from Bath, which many people know for the very famous period dramas located in that area. But also, just outside Bath, we've got Avebury, Stonehenge, the famous Glastonbury. So even as a child, I was very, very connected and very aware of crystals. As well as that, I have always been a psychic from a surprisingly young age, 3 or 4 years old. I was offering predictions, not knowing I was doing it, but offering predictions to my family of world events, which it sounds quite dramatic. But at least it meant for them, they knew that there was something else going on and they were very good at cultivating my skills and kind of not hiding them away. So I've always been doing the work from a very, very young age. Sadly, though, and I'm sure people can resonate, I didn't really step into spirituality until my early 20s when I had a series of bereavements. And that was my moment of there's got to be more to life. What else is going on? And from that moment, I finished my business degree, signed up pretty much the day afterwards to study hypnosis, then past life regression, crystal healing, and the ball started rolling. 22 years later, as you were saying, I now run the Crystal Mystery School, which qualifies people in multiple different modalities, including crystal healing. And within that, I really advocate for people to explore their own path and maybe start to combine different modalities. And as you were saying about the multidimensional approach, really consider that we have to be very open minded about what could be going on for people. Far too long, I feel we focus just on this lifetime. We do focus now on past life as well, but there is a lot more we can consider. What about future lives? What about bringing in energy tools like crystals? There's so many different things that we can do to support people. And yeah, more recently, well, like I was saying, I've always loved crystals, but more recently, I've got now 3 crystal books. The fourth coming out, Find Your Light, this year. That one's more about crystals as energy tools and how to use them to support yourself if you're a light worker or someone like we probably are, everybody listening. And yeah, that's very much the approach I use now, bringing crystals into everyday life because they are amazing energy tools that can do a lot more than I think we use them for at this moment in time.
Mm. Well, it's a fascinating journey. I'm amazed starting psychic predictions at 3 or 4 is quite a early start. So I think it'd be great to hear from your, there's a lot of enthusiasm for crystals out there, but from your perspective and working at the kind of more advanced level, sort of how is it that the crystals work? How do they actually work with different dimensions of our being and sort of amplify intentions? I think there's sort of almost like a metaphysical understanding. The ground, what we'll be talking about would be great to start with.
Yeah, so to really understand what crystals are doing, we've got to look at a crystal and understand its makeup, what it's made of. And in essence, if you looked at a crystal under a microscope, it is made of multiple different atoms, atom structures that form in a very stable repeating pattern. That means they create a real stable frequency, which we know to be their healing frequencies. As humans, in contrast, different areas of our bodies really need to be, as we'd expect, the makeup, the atom structure needs to be very different. So our eyes look like our eyes, our hair looks like our hair, and the final result is we look like we need to look. But that means we've got multiple different vibrations, different frequencies going on. And that means we're not particularly, as we'll all experience, as stable as maybe a crystal has got one particular frequency. So that means when we are in a stress state, we can go quite low and it can take quite a long time for us to raise our vibration again to our stable, balanced, structured frequency. In contrast, because crystals have this beautiful, stable frequency, if, say, we dropped one, they would go back to that stable frequency pretty quickly. They can also, so we take that a step further and understand that because we are a little bit lower frequency than a crystal, because of everything that's going on, it is now realized that if we bring a crystal close to us, it raises our vibration so we match it, so we resonate with that particular crystal. Once you understand that, that means you can take that a bit further. If crystals all have different properties, that means no matter what you're trying to do, or if you're manifesting, going on journeys, meditating, trying to achieve something, maybe connect to your intuition, that means you can bring a crystal in that has that specialism and basically raise your vibration to match that particular skill. How you then understand what crystal to bring in, the color of a crystal gives us a really good clue. So if there's anyone out here, and I'm imagining there'll be lots of you who very much know the chakra system, the energy body, and the colors of the chakras very much match the properties of crystals. So you can use that understanding of the chakras to kind of create an umbrella theme for the colors. So solar plexus being a yellow, that means yellow crystals are going to have similar energies. They're all about confidence and vitality. Within that, they all then have unique little individual topics or specialisms that they work with. And I've got some crystals here to show you what I mean. All of them are blue crystals. So straight away, we would understand that that is throat chakra. It's going to be about communication. But if you were someone who is very, very shy, and maybe you need to communicate something and it needs to be said, you might bring in blue lace agate to help with that communication. In contrast, if you are exploring bringing in ancient wisdoms, that would be lapis lazuli, which literally communicates to us ancient knowledge. If you're somebody who often finds that they get upset, maybe they get angry, and you'd rather come from a place of communication that is soft and easier and kinder, the cooling crystal that calms our emotions is blue calcite. Finally, for those who love their intuition, and I imagine this group really, really does, this beauty, much larger than the others I've just been showing you, this is blue kyanite in quartz, but we're going to focus on the blue kyanite for now. Now, this crystal, when we are receiving intuitive messages, it helps us understand what we're receiving and turn it into something we can then communicate to others. So, yes, that's how I use crystals to pick an energy that I need to support myself. So, final example, if you are currently manifesting and you're generally quite good at it, but there's a little bit that you always struggle on, then if you pick the crystal that has the theme of that part of the process, maybe it's the you need willpower to get you over the line because it's quite a big project. So that would be a carnelian crystal. And that would give you the energy to almost go over that little hump where you normally have a problem so that you can succeed.
Hmm. So many fascinating things in what you shared. So I really took away that it's like the crystals are like frequency stabilizers because of their stable structure and that kind of repeating structure. So we can kind of entrain with them. How does that entrainment happen? Is that sort of happening through the biofield or sort of just having the presence of that kind of like regular structure? How close does it have to be to sort of have that stabilizing function?
A good question. The closer the better. Crystals that the energy people always ask, does the size of a crystal matter? Yes, it does. And the closeness is also really important. So if you are currently working on something and you want that crystal to really do its job and support you, ideally you are wearing it, you are carrying it, you're keeping it with you all day, every day, then it's basically in your energy field and it will become part of your energy field. Hence why it's so good at stabilizing
Mm.
the aspects of us that we're struggling with.
And do you need to sort of keep it? So if you're working with the fifth chakra, you want to have it as close as possible to the fifth chakra then?
Yeah, that's debatable. I advocate that for sure. I would say that we need to be aware of where we are placing crystals on the body. Might be there's a certain placements that are going to be more powerful. It's not that people say they've got gorgeous jewelry and it's not placed, they haven't, they've got a ring and now they're realizing if that's down by their side, and it's not a color that matches the root chakra, they don't have to worry about, "Oh gosh, does that mean I've got to go and buy brand new?" Well, could be a good excuse, but they don't necessarily need to go and buy brand new jewelry. But if they are deliberately picking a root chakra crystal color to wear as a ring, that has that intention. So the body will know that, our frequencies will know that, and we'll understand classic law of intention. I am working with this crystal right now. I'm making sure it's near my root chakra to support that area.
And so, and then the color linkage, I thought that was interesting. So I haven't really understood this before. So the color in a crystal is reflective of the frequency that it tends to stabilize most, and that happens to correlate with the chakras. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, when I first really decided that I wanted to fully focus on crystals and make that real specialism for myself, I spent a very long time reading, researching everything. And one of the things I focused on the most at that moment was the history of crystal properties, because we are always told a crystal has this property and we often just take that as face value, like, okay, it has that property and we just trust that. But I wanted to understand where that came from. There is other reasons. There is the history, the structures of the crystals, but no matter the different theories we look at, the outcome, the property does pretty much always connect to the chakra. It will have a few other, it's almost like sideline properties, extras, and that's often down to how humans have worked with the crystal through history. But yeah, definitely, if people want a nice, easy way to start understanding how to work with their crystals, if they learn the chakras, just the fundamentals of the different properties of the chakras, it will empower them to understand when they go into a crystal shop and a crystal waves at them, that is because you're resonating with its energy. When you pinpoint one crystal, it's because it's the frequency you need. You'll be able to learn to translate it quite quickly if you understand the chakras.
Mhm. And when it's working with a particular chakra, is it adding energy or more just helping to kind of harmonize or stabilize that particular frequency in your system?
Good question. So, in crystal healing in particular, we would bring a chakra crystal towards the person, place it on the body when that energy is low. So, if the chakras are out of balance, and by that I mean a chakra is low, then working with that particular crystal energy is going to balance the chakra, which in turn balances all of the chakras, making sure that we're not allowing negative energies, say emotions that are building up in the body, to then translate and start to maybe manifest as a physical ailment. So it's really important for people to understand the significance of a chakra balance, because I see the chakras as almost the bridge between the energy body and the physical body.
Mhm.
If we use crystals to make sure the chakras are healthy, it helps stop things going into the physical body.
Mhm. And beyond the crystal, beyond the chakras, so I oftentimes I understand people use crystals as part of kind of like a healing or cleansing of the biofield more generally, and where trauma can locate in different areas and different levels. And want to share anything just about how you can also use it for the kind of like in a way clearing out of distortion patterns elsewhere?
Yes, you name it. There is literally a crystal for everything. Classically in crystal healing, we've got selenite wands that we literally it's called brushing the aura. So always start at the navel, we go up the body, and then you do a little flick at the top. And what you're really doing is flicking the unwanted energy into white light. So you're imagining there's white light to one side. And that particular crystal, selenite, is very good at, like you were saying, picking up the excess energy that we can generally just pick up in life. So if you're going through the underground, going through a busy city, people are like banging into you, you can easily pick up people's energy. And crystals are very good at taking energy out of our the physical body, but also our auric field and the other layers of our energy body and taking away from us.
But you also mentioned a little something around manifestation kind of earlier, and so maybe share a little bit about how crystals also can act as an amplifier of our intention. That's the interesting area.
Yes. So you can use crystals in multiple different ways to do that. So if we were looking at crystals for manifestation, it's basically in a healing process because you know that you're not necessarily manifesting too well. Again, there's a different way of reading the chakras, which is the line of energy that runs down the line of manifestation. If you understand that and sort of start to appreciate how they each work. So, crown chakra is the idea when we are manifesting and bringing ideas in. Third eye is receiving that idea. We've got the throat chakra, which is the problem solving, the inner dialogue of can I do this idea? Then we start to tell other people about it. Again, throat chakra, you fall in love with it. And then the rest of the chakras are all about creating and making that thing so that it happens. Root chakra, physical world, is the outcome. It is the thing existing in the physical world. So when we understand that, we can a bit quicker and start to pinpoint where do I struggle when I'm manifesting? What energies do I need support with? I.e., what crystal can I bring in so that it's not like we don't always still have those problems because if we're going through life lessons, they will still be there, but they help us increase our energy so it's subtler. So, for example, on day one of a new project, you might feel that imposter syndrome. Can I do this? Everyone else is doing it. How can I succeed? A lack of vitality, which is another way of our bodies kind of hindering the process and making it a little bit harder because we're nervous, or just a general, you need more confidence to get going. So if that is you, then a yellow crystal that you are drawn to will get you over that line and make that more significant. And I'm just going to add a little fact there. The reason I say about colors, and I don't always say a crystal type, is also that gives people flexibility to then, if I say go and get a yellow crystal, you can go to the crystal shop or you can look online and would then ask you to, knowing what you need the crystal for, confidence. You would look at all of the yellow crystals, having in mind you're looking for one for confidence, and then you will find the perfect crystal that matches that, i.e., you're looking for the one, as I was saying before, that kind of energetically waves, the one that stands out to you. That is your frequency, that need for confidence connecting to the crystal that's going to give you that. So, again, it's like frequency reading frequency. And I don't tell people as much as I can the exact crystal because often the needs we have are in our subconscious minds. Or things that have been suppressed in our childhood. So I may not know that. So if I'm saying, oh, I think you shouldn't get a citrine because that's classically the best one for confidence, and it's not the right one for you, because I'm not aware of what's in your subconscious mind, but our intuition is in your subconscious. It's one of the places it resides. So it will guide you to the right crystal. As long as I say yellow crystal, the rest of the work, if you allow yourself to pick the right crystal, that energetic wave will be the frequency match.
Really illuminating. Thank you. And I want to ask now about intuition and how you can work with crystals in a way that enhances inner insight, intuition, different kind of guidance that can come through.
Yeah, good question. And you can use crystals in multiple different ways to work with your intuition. One of the most powerful things to do with all of what I'm saying is to literally place a crystal over that space. So, intuition being third eye. If you're someone who's really struggling with your intuition and you think you're not intuitive, that is probably a low frequency around the third eye chakra. So, just lying down, placing a crystal there is going to increase the frequency. Chances are you'll find that you start to connect to your intuition much more. But there is a crystal for everything. So, depending on the kind of support you need, there will be one that can help you. And again, what they're doing is if you're trying to maybe connect to the angelic realm, and you're struggling to do it, but it's something you really always wanted to do. Basically, one of the reasons we can hinder things like that is the angelic realm is such a high frequency compared to us. Again, we are sadly in this case the lower frequency. We need to raise our vibration. The angelic realm often try to lower theirs so that they can help us so we can meet in the middle. But there are crystals out there. There is one literally called Angel Light that helps you raise your vibration so it's easier for you to make that connection. But also, once you've got that connection, normally the messages are clearer. Good old clear quartz literally means clarity. If you're trying to get clearer, intuitive messages, clear quartz will offer that for you.
Hmm, fascinating. Well, I know you also want to go into a little bit more depth with the releasing of emotional stored emotional issues, and so an emotional release. So why don't you describe a little bit how you work with crystals that way? I know you want to take us on an experiential journey as well.
Yes. So definitely working with crystals is much more powerful when you're trying out the techniques because that's when you see that this crystals really do their thing. This is a black uh, moonstone. It is one of my favorites because it is such a gift to humanity, this crystal. It has got one very, very specific use that I show my students, and boy, does it do it well. And that is when we have trapped emotions in the body, it's very good at almost sponging them out, taking them from us. A bit like the selenite we were talking about earlier for the aura, but this is more when we've got emotions that have started to get held in the body. Um, Crystal healing is a part of energy medicine, and energy medicine is a real passion of mine. I really like to explore where that industry is going to go in the future. And within that, it's a common idea that even if someone's in front of us and we are working with them to support their physical body, there's a good chance that potentially what is going on in their physical body comes from an emotion that is got blocked and held in the physical body. That will be the root cause. And we're always looking for the root cause of the issue. Now, this crystal, like I was suggesting, is very good at identifying the emotion and releasing it. And that's what I'm going to show everybody to do today. So, we're going to do a little demo. Okay, you don't have to have this crystal. Again, because crystals are energy tools, as much as it's lovely to own all of the crystals, we can just simply connect to its energy, which is how we're going to do this so everybody can have this experience. If you happen to have a clear quartz with you and you like to have something tangible you can hold, then do go grab a clear quartz. I say clear quartz because the light, because it's so transparent and all of the colors of the rainbow go through it, it's got the whole light spectrum. It's a really good crystal. If we don't have the exact one that we want to work with, it can kind of support us and be a step in for that particular crystal. But yeah, hopefully everybody can imagine that they are working with a black moonstone. And I'm just going to invite you all to take a moment before we actually begin. It's a very quick healing. You'll be surprised, and it's something you'll be able to use again and again in the future once you learn it. It'd be really good if people could spend a moment or two, 30 seconds, because I can't be doing it for too long, considering if you have a current block, limiting belief, an emotion that you would love to release that's playing up, that's hindering, particularly maybe manifesting, and you would like to be able to see that that emotion has been healed and you've moved on from it. So if everybody could take 30 seconds, get a pen and paper, and just consider what block, limiting belief, or maybe fear do you have at the moment that you would like to be healed. Invest in the future, if you're going to use this practice, be aware if it slows down, it's normally because we've got to another layer of the healing, sort of changing frequency a little bit. So you just take a moment, you ask that color, that emotion, what color are you now? See if it changes. Chances are it's going to change color. And then it's the same process. So with this new color, you want it to end up moving away so you have disconnected from it.
Great. Well, what a great process. And I love just how clear each step is to sort of really harness the power of the soul to do this clearing work. And beautiful. So
Thank you.
so once you've done that once, do you find that there are like layers that you want to kind of work through over time, or is it sort of like once it just depends on whether that particular pattern shifted?
Yeah, good question. It actually, you'll find that it's such a good crystal at doing that work because I have tried this with other crystals. Normally, if we had a bit longer, if you were doing that for 20 minutes and you were focusing on the emotions, the big emotions that you really want to work on and release, you'll probably find that you're going to travel through quite a few different colors, which is you seeing the layers, the build up, the emotions over time that have built up in that area. As you work through them, it's a win each layer because it's you getting to that root cause. When it goes white, that basically means the energy is releasing and it will naturally go to that crystal. But then, yes, once you know this process and you've got that emotion to white, in theory, that is resolved for you. That is healed. But it's a process you can use for anything. Like I was saying, if you're working on your physical body, supporting your physical body, if you're working on any type of emotion, then this is a lovely one to bring in. If you're struggling, like fears, blocks, limiting beliefs, again, we could go back to manifesting. What's the little emotions that are holding you back? That imposter syndrome, that I would love to. And then we think, but all those I dream of doing this, but all of those can be healed with that technique.
Really fascinating. Well, I want to take some time now to also talk about the insights across lifetimes, and we go beyond just this specific body mind, and how can crystals be a bridge to some of the deeper patterning of souls across lifetimes?
Okay, so again, a passion of mine. We often focus on this life, and when we are healing, we focus just on what's happened to us in our past, particularly before the age of 7, which is really powerful, powerful work. But if we step back and instead of just focusing on our current lifetime, we focus more on our soul and our soul's journey and the fact our souls live multiple lives. Also, just out of interest, you can also look at where your soul wants to go in the future because the future energies can also affect the present moment. If we focus on the past, sometimes things that are showing up today for us could have an original, the root cause could be in our past, whether that is repeating patterns that you're going through and you just cannot, although you've tried your best, you cannot find out what it was that started that repeating pattern. but it's there, and no matter what you're doing, you're going back into this lesson constantly. Another thing that I've experienced, so one of the things I was saying I first learned and I love is past life regression. And sometimes people are moved to come to me for a regression because they've got a phantom pain and they're trusting their intuition. They're drawn to do a past life regression and they feel that's going to be where they get the answer to that. And we'll regress them back. And yes, they'll go to something that happened in a previous life that is the root cause. Funnily enough, I often get a lot of people that have gone to Atlantis in their past lives, and it's a wound from the great floods at Atlantis that is showing up suddenly for them now. It's almost like their body, their intuition. So sometimes it's not a fun feeling, but our intuition can show up as a pain. And it's almost like it's showing up to also get them to learn about these lessons. But as soon as they see how it started, what was going on, often that understanding starts to support them quite quickly. So I really advocate with this work in not just focusing on our current life, looking back, looking at our past, future, of this life, of our next lives, and also considering many other dimensions, because I think we're all starting to realize we we don't know everything. And if we are very open, then it gives space for the unknown to actually come in and support us. And particularly, so if I'm taking people to understand their past lives, it's crystals are a very good bridge to get them to that energy. It is common that people may question, can I do that? Can I access past lives? Can I go back to different timelines? And it makes sense. If you've never done it before, you're not going to know if that's something you're capable of. Again, because crystals all have a very specific energy, they can act like a bridge to connect us to that past life. You pick a crystal that matches a particular timeline, it will have that frequency. And again, it's the same thing. It's raising your vibration to match that frequency so you can get that connection easier and quicker. And what's really lovely, it doesn't just help you get there. Once you're in the energy of that timeline, whether it be, like I said, we talk about past lives, but it could be future. It could be that you're connecting to the Akashic records to understand your current life more. The crystal will help hold you at that frequency. So you'll get more information, probably a more profound experience. The emotions will come. A lot of people can see what's going on around them when they're in a past life. And the result of all of that, that heightened experience, is they'll be able to really embody the lessons, and it just takes effect for them in a much more profound way.
Fantastic. Well, it really gets very multidimensional when you talk on this level. So we talk about crystal healing journeys, so you're sort of like implying the crystals sort of accompany you in this whole process of working with different lifetimes. And then,
Yes, and it's only so I was for a long time doing the two things separately, working with and teaching about crystals, and then separately taking people on these beautiful journeys to different timelines. But when I started to do this as groups of people, taking them to different regressions, different timelines, particularly Lemuria, Atlantis, things where we are intrigued and drawn to, but we question, how do I know if that even happened? So I would give people crystals because it's a bigger group. So it's harder for me to manage everybody separately. And I would find they would all get there because the crystals are helping raise their vibration to match that experience. And like I was saying, we were getting much more powerful outcomes with the emotions, particularly the emotions. When you do this work, when you journey to particular timelines, it's the emotions that make you go, oh gosh, this did happen. I feel it literally to my bones. I can feel it in my physical body. And lots of people literally are having physical sensations, but they know the emotions are there as well.
well, Gemma, you're truly fascinating. I love how just systematically you've approached this whole field and really like brought it into multidimensional realms in a very grounded way. So really cool stuff. Let's talk about your upcoming course, which is a way to go beyond just some inspiration and really make this a healing practice for the long haul. And so, what a beautiful opportunity to harvest wisdom that you've really gained in the last 22 years. Gemma's agreed to teach this brand new program called Crystal Healing Journeys Across Lifetimes. It resolve repeating soul patterns and reclaim forgotten gifts to fulfill your higher destiny. You can find it at the URL crystaljourneyscourse.com, crystaljourneyscourse.com. It's a 7-week program. There's no prerequisites for this. You don't have to have any expertise in working with crystals, since Gemma's going to really put you on that path and give you the foundations that you need. So, Gemma, I'd love for you to share some of your intentions for this program, and then we can go through the weeks and give a preview of what you're going to be teaching in each.
Yes. So I find the best way to learn about crystals is to actively start working with them. The theory I was explaining at the beginning about why crystals are such profound, they are a gift from nature and such a profound energy tool. But understanding the so what, like how do I then access and use these, is what I wanted this course to be for people. And seeing the joy, the fun, I think right now, especially people need more fun in their life. They need to take a moment away and do something that just lights them up. Seeing how these journeys, taking people to particular timelines so that they can learn how to work with crystals. The timelines are all ones that are very much heavily connected to crystals. So you'll learn about crystal history and how these particular timelines work with them. But also, you're going to learn a lot about yourself. This is the idea, the plan is that we're going to timelines where a lot of people are intrigued about and they feel a pull to. They don't know if it's them, if it's their ancestral line. They have lots of questions. So we're going to get those questions answered. And at the same time, you're going to experience just how powerful crystals are.
Beautiful. So week 1 goes into gain insight into your soul's role, your gifts, and what you're ready to remember with the wisdom of Lemuria and the Lemurian seed crystals.
So for the first week, we will focus on Lemurian seed crystals. Literally, these are a beloved crystal by many, and it's the myth with them is that the Lemurian people would program their insights into these crystals. So before their race died out, which is in the famous Atlantean floods, they programmed their crystals with the wisdoms that they wanted to pass down. So we're going to take you back to that moment so that you can see yourself programming your crystal, take on those wisdoms so you know what they are and you can embody them in this life, but also understand who you might have been in Lemuria. In essence, Lemuria was the first 5D civilizations. Although that's where we're planning to go now, we did have one originally on Earth. So it's a good insight as well to understand what happened then and hopefully where we're going in the future.
Week 2, explore Atlantis, Larimar, and the wisdoms of the waters to connect with the wisdom already within you.
Okay, so for this week, we focus on our lovely Larimar, which is famously connected to Atlantis. We will I'll take you on a beautiful journey into Atlantis. We'll walk through the cities, go to its famous temple, Poseidon's temple, where you will relax and see yourself relaxing, connecting to these crystal beauties. And connecting to the wisdoms in the water, which is basically the Atlantean people believed that souls wanted to come to Earth because we are such a predominantly water-based planet, and water can be programmed. So our oceans are full of these amazing wisdoms. And of course, we're water as well. So you'll learn how to connect to the water underneath Poseidon's temple and also the energies in the body. And after that particular week, I'll also offer you an extra little video, because there'll always be an extra crystal training as well, about crystal elixirs, how to program water with crystal energy.
Week 3, access higher frequencies and channeled guidance through crystal grids and the Egyptian mystery schools.
Ooh. So this is Libyan desert glass, an absolute favorite, very much connected to ancient Egypt. And we will be having you imagine you are the center of a crystal grid with this crystal, this type all around you, connecting your energies up to the soul star and then up further to the stellar gateway chakra, one of our higher chakras. So you can start to bring in the more galactic insights that the Egyptians often connected to. Will help you connect to that chakra. And then another Egyptian chakra, the causal chakra, that which we often forget about now, but it helps us channel much more potent, high frequency information. So, the plan for this week is that you'll be able to receive insights on what you learned, who you were, and the lessons that you took on in the mystery schools.
Week 4, access the wisdom of your ancestors when we connect with Stonehenge or other ancient megaliths.
Yes. So, as you can imagine, because I'm from just down the road, Stonehenge, one of the crystals that inspire this week, this is Pristily Bluestone, which is one of the two main crystals that created Stonehenge. But what we'll really be doing is I'll take you on a classic past life regression back to a ancient megalithic site connected to your own ancestors. So we're probably all going to go to different places in the world, which is going to be very interesting to see where people go. You will be able to spend time with your ancestors, communicate to them, learn from them. Also, as well, see what they're celebrating. What the aim is that will take you to a moment where they're probably celebrating a solstice or an equinox. And then I'll also have you take some time to connect into the megalithic site themselves and receive insights. And the video you'll get later that week will be showing you how you can regularly then moving forward connect into different crystals in different locations.
Week 5, explore rose calcite and Mary Magdalene's influence across lifetimes as a catalyst for your healing and opening your heart.
Yes. So this little crystal beauty is going to help us all expand our hearts. Then I'll be taking you back to Provence, where you'll be meeting Mary Magdalene, spending time with her, experiencing what it's like to be around someone who embodies love so profoundly. You can ask her questions. She will be giving you support and insights and also offering everybody a crystal healing. And then after that particular session, I will have an extra video talking about crystal layouts, placing crystals on the body so you can progress your understanding of crystal healing.
Week 6, connect with the crystal Merkaba to understand your current soul's purpose and intentions.
So this is a Merkaba. I'm sure many people here know Merkabas. And we'll be using these crystal Merkabas to help you connect to your soul's energy. So it's believed that a Merkaba is the energy that carries our souls down to earth. So it's the perfect crystal shape to imagine and to work with to help send your energies back, reconnect to your Akashic records, and get insights on the lessons you've already learned, like what's happened before that's got you to this moment, but also where are you going next? And it will give you the insights and the steps to help you succeed on that journey. And then after that particular lesson, that particular week, you'll receive a video helping you regularly communicate with crystals so you can carry on getting that guidance moving forward.
And finally, week 7, connect with crystal skull consciousness and with your future 5D self.
This crystal is a lot bigger than the ones I was showing you guys a moment ago. So good old crystal skulls. I won't hold this one for too long because it's quite a big crystal. But in essence, yes, for the final week, we are going to the ancient Mayan ruins. We are finding the crystal skulls there together, working with them to focus on their wisdoms to help us understand where we are going in the future. Many of us, I'm sure all of us, are hoping and working towards a 5D future, but it's hard for us to know what to work towards when we don't necessarily know what it could be. So, this is a chance for you to get those visuals, get those understandings, understand who you will be at that moment in time, so you can start moving towards that ideal future.
Well, what a truly fascinating program, Gemma. I'm going into some very deep terrain and really giving us a very interesting portal into understanding crystals in a whole different way, working in this way. So I'll just share a little bit more about it. Again, you can find the whole program laid out in detail at crystaljourneyscourse.com, crystaljourneyscourse.com. In addition to the 7 90-minute sessions with Gemma, which we just described, which you'll also have time to ask your questions live, you'll also get recordings of every session, both video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts. There'll be weekly exercises and practices for inquiry. There's a community group to support you and deepen your experience, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. And on the page, you'll also see there are a number of extra bonuses that Gemma has been very generous with. There's a video teaching on crystals as energy tools, video training. There's one on crystal healing journeys across lifetimes. That's an energy meditation. There's a crystal herd, also an intuition training. You want to share about anything about the intuition training as well?
Yeah, that's actually key. Thank you for that. So with this work, it will always benefit you, as you'd imagine, if you've got strong intuition. And I want everybody to do this course and to be able to get these messages because they'll make a profound difference for you moving forward. So if you're not sure about your intuition, I invite you to listen to that video. There's a very simple, there's 2 exercises in that video. The first is how to receive intuitive messages on the breath. That is, so I've been, like I said, I've been teaching about intuition for a long time. And that is the exercise that seems to work for most people because it works for all different ways your intuition can connect to you. Then I also suggest, so if you are someone who, for example, their intuition works in emotions or sensations running through the body, which you might then not, naturally that's going to be harder for you to understand. What did that emotion mean? What was that sensation there for? So I also on that video talk about how to pull oracle cards because they work as a really lovely translation from our intuition over to something we can understand. But even if that isn't you, if your intuition works in a different way, do have a look at the Oracle card video because we'll make sure we bring that into the community as well and invite people to pull Oracle cards about what they're experiencing every week.
Well, it's a great extra bonus just by itself, in addition to the whole course. And then I also want to draw attention to one final bonus, which is a special bonus you get if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. This is a video teaching and visualization from Gemma called Discover Your Spirit Crystal. So I'll share more about the spirit crystal and about the video around that.
Yes, so we know about spirit guides. Lots of people know about spirit animals. It is less known, but it is an ancient idea that we also have a spirit crystal. And that crystal embodies our future self, who we aspire to be. If our soul in between lives decides the lessons we're going to learn, there is an energy, there is a like who we are in the future once we've embodied all of those lessons will have an energy, and that will be a particular crystal. So if you can understand what that crystal is and it is around you and near you, it means again, you're raising your vibration to get closer to that. So in this content, I will be sharing more on what I've just said, but I'll also be offering you a visualization so you can go on a journey, another journey, and try and start to explore what that crystal might be.
Great extra bonus and a great reason to sign up right away. Discover your spirit crystal with video teaching and visualization. So we've got, again, all these bonuses and the whole program is laid out with more detail at crystaljourneyscourse.com. We've kept the investment for this course very accessible, given all the value. It's just 3 payments of $128. You save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start April 14th and run Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. There's some beautiful testimonials on the page about Gemma's teaching, her dedication, her knowledge, and just how wonderful this work has been in their lives. So you are in really good hands, and you will really get to distill the best from the frontiers of crystal work and apply it to your evolution in a really profound way. So again, it's all at crystaljourneyscourse.com, and you get that special bonus when you sign up by midnight today, which is the discover your spirit crystal. So, Gemma, it's been really a fascinating hour. I feel like you've really illumined the deeper dimensions of healing and working with crystals in a way that I haven't heard elsewhere. So, thank you. And so, anything still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing the full course with you?
Yes, thank you. Well, firstly, Stephen, thank you so much for creating a space where we can do this course. And yes, for those who are considering joining me for this 7-week adventure together, please consider that this will be a moment for you to get those questions answered. I know there's a lot of people who are intrigued. The megalithic sites, ancient Egypt, the mystery schools, Lemuria, Atlantis. Once people do these journeys and use crystals so that it's more profound for them, so they can really embody the lessons, it changes people. And that always sounds a bit dramatic, but it is true. You'll go from someone who loves these topics, but isn't sure if it's there's a truth. So they're tentative to feeling the experiences and then allowing themselves to fall in love with these themes properly. So, and then of course, that gives you lessons and direction moving forward so you can explore these things even more, which is one of the reasons it's important that we've added in Akashic records for your soul purpose in this life and where we might all be going in the future. And for people who, again, are considering the course, but maybe you're questioning, can I do this work? Gemma's saying that intuition's involved. I'm not sure if I am intuitive. Everybody is, for sure. Everybody is. Um, and everybody can be very good at connecting to crystals and these timelines. I am a teacher who is very, very present. So there will be a community with this course. Reach out to me, it'll be myself, and I've got a teaching assistant, Charlotte, who will be there as well, and will be able to answer your questions. So if you need a little bit of a hint and tips to perfect your skills, we can very much do that as well.
Hmm. Well, thank you, Gemma. You're just a fountain of fascinating insights and wisdom. So it's been a really illuminating hour. And thank you for also for offering this upcoming program, which I know is going to be really groundbreaking and fascinating. And again, it's all at crystaljourneyscourse.com. And the name again is Crystal Healing Journeys Across Lifetimes. Resolve repeating soul patterns and reclaim forgotten gifts to fulfill your higher destiny. So thank you so much. Many blessings.
Thank you, Stephen.